All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the JD Photo Podcast. So today I have Luke Johnson, creative, and Mark Wong from Film Nostalgic. Both of these guys are extremely talented photographers and videographers, specializing in weddings and commercial as well. So we're going to dive into a few topics today. Going to have a general conversation. We are all very good friends, so it's going to be a fun kind of episode. So I hope you guys all like it. Let's jump straight in.
Yeah, sure. I wish I could remember who said it, but I found this quote back in the day when I was learning photography about what makes a good photo, and it was three elements. It was lighting, composition, and moment, and I've found that to hold true forever. And I imagine, it's very similar in the video world as well. And you can really break down those things into fine details. And you can go into the more orchestrated world in the commercial world, and then the more event world as well, which is harder to obviously get those things right. But yeah, those combinations will make an excellent photo, and you can get a good photo with two of them, an okay photo with one of them, but all three.
That's where the magic happens.
Exactly.
So tell me, Luke, what's the most important for you? The moment, the lighting, or the composition?
Well, again, all three are very important, but I guess in the event world, which is what I do with weddings, you can almost change the composition later on with a crop. Obviously, you've got to position yourself in the right place as well. You've got things like framing, leading lines. There's so many different things there that you have to do, I guess, in camera in the moment. But there's a little bit of give with regards to being able to recrop later on and change it up a little bit. Moment, I would say, is quite big. And for anyone learning, if you're in the event world, if you're in the wedding world, moment, there's obviously a lot of beautiful moments that are happening throughout the day, which you're capturing candidly. But one of my favorite times during a wedding day is the portrait time. And in those moments, you're looking to create some moments with the couple. And you want to do it in the most natural, easy going sort of way as possible, where they happen more naturally. So I would say moments very important. I mean, look, I love lighting. We all love lighting. We all love golden hour. We can get
a little bit suckered into lighting, though, I have to say, because you can get lost in the process of neglecting the moment and focusing too much on the lighting.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me personally, I in my mind, I'm still gonna say I think lighting takes precedent over moment, but I think moment. I wouldn't include a photo that doesn't have a good moment, if that makes sense. But if I have a photo that has a good, I don't know, it's tricky, man. It's an interplay, isn't it?
I've been editing this week, and I've got stuff which I won't say which wedding, but it happens on every wedding. You take thousands of photos and you deliver hundreds. That's just the way it goes. You're picking the best of the best. You're not obviously sending duplicates and what have you. But I've got ones where the composition is great. You've got beautiful bokeh. You've got beautiful lighting. But then the moment's not quite right.
Yeah.
They're looking at each other funny because it's just that in-between moment before a smile. And, so all those other two could be great. But if that moment is like off or wrong, it's suddenly like, I actually don't send it as much as I think it looks great. Yeah. So
what do you think makes those moments in let's say like those creative portraits? Because it's a fine line between being able to capture something that feels like natural and authentic and has that magic compared to something where you've just said stand like this and then do this and then you kind of take the photo and it has that feeling, right, where it's like it's almost too staged. I think it's a fine line, right? It's very hard to do well. What do you think that line is? How do you achieve those moments in those creative portraits?
Yeah, well, I think it's just important to have fun. I think it's important to be in the moment of the day. And it's such a beautiful, special day, stepping back on it. Getting married, you're making a commitment with someone to spend the rest of your life together. You're professing your love in front of friends and family. So coming back to that, reminding the couple, hey, we're not really like just here to do photos and be in our head about this. Just think about what you've done today. Think about your first date. Think about when you got proposed to. So taking people into those spaces, and then creating little moments, like little games that they might be able to play just so they can get some natural laughter. I've got some silly games that we play, and a bit of movement as well. And before you know it, because you've already spent half the day with them already, they're pretty loose, they're pretty relaxed, and then those moments can flow, quite easily. And there's always new things to learn.
There's always the prompting.
Yeah, so prompting, prompting is quite important. But, you know, some people are more relaxed and loose than others. But yeah, they're waiting for some direction. So direction is important.
What do you reckon, Mark? What's your thoughts on it? The moment, the composition, the lighting. What's the most important? What takes precedent?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this chat last time, so I'm glad we're revisiting it. But I think for me personally, moment takes precedence before everything, because for me, it's either whatever you're doing, it's either about, or whatever I'm doing, it's either about capturing memories or, you know, capturing some kind of story. So the lighting and composition should, you know, supplement the moment for me, but ultimately the moment takes priority for me. And composition, you know, you can do a little bit more quickly in terms of a run and gun situation because you can just work with what you have, but lighting obviously takes a little bit more of a logistical setup, so it might not always be feasible to pull off unless you're a gun like yourself, James, with your with your mobile off-camera flash magic.
What do you reckon of it now that you've had a play around with it? It's pretty impressive stuff, eh?
Amazing stuff. Like, it just really takes it to the next level, I think.
Yeah, just allows you to do it on the fly.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. So let's bring it back to that. So the composition of the moment of life. So moments. I think we all universally agree. You need to have a good moment in order to produce a good image. Like, yes, you can have the line. Like, yes, you can have the composition. You might have a good photo, but an amazing photo always has some moment. And usually that moment, it seems, I think we all agree, it has like authentic. It's like the key word, right? It's natural. Mm-hmm. You know, you connect with it as a viewer on a deeper level compared to just looking at a post photo. It's like there's something there, you know, that there's emotion, there's a sense of meaning in how the couple are engaging with each other, or there might be a sense of kind of intimacy, or a sense of kind of just emotion in general. You know, you might take a photo of the father of the bride crying, and that might be a really beautiful moment, or, you know, might be the first dance, and you know, they're kind of just embracing each other, and you just feel that connection between them. And I think if you get those, that's what makes photos really magical, right? But then it's the interplay of the composition and the lighting as well, and how you use those to reinforce the moment. And that's how I look at it. And yeah, don't know what you guys feel on that. It's like, how do you use composition? How do you use lighting to make the moment be more impactful?
Well, the one thought I'll just jump in and say then, as much as the moment during a portrait session, you know, we sort of have to assist with that a little bit and give some direction, particularly as people don't normally stand in front of a camera. So you've got to kind of remove some of those nerves.
What do you do?
Well, there is, you know, as we discussed, some prompts. They're usually pretty relaxed after the ceremony. You know, there's some nerves have dissipated from there, and you've spent some time with them already. But the thing I was actually going to say is, outside of the portrait session, say during reception, during a lot of the formalities, you then are not involved in those moments. It's then about liaising with whoever's running the night to make sure that you know what's going to happen and when, being in the right place at the right time to capture the moments that are going to unfold naturally. And so the composition and the lighting then come a lot more into it, because that's what you've got more control over. So positioning yourself, finding out where things are happening, and then putting your lighting in the right place. So during a reception, I personally love to use off-camera flash. I just think it adds a whole new dimension, and there's a lot of creativity there. So, for example, during first dances, and you can do it slightly differently every time as well. Like sometimes I love to throw at the back of the room 2 off-camera flashes, you know, throw the aperture, sort of close it down a bit and get some sort of stars going on, some sort of flares, and, you know, have them in the middle. So
I've actually stopped using off-camera flash for weddings, believe it or not. Yeah. We'll get into that in a second.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear your reasons why. I mean, I know during portraits you do bring the big lighting, and you know I commend you for that, because that's work. And there's so much that you're thinking of and doing and trying to get right that, you know, that's really good of you. But yeah, no, look, I read every room differently and every reception's a little bit different, but generally speaking, I like to add a little bit of light during reception because it creates some separation. You know, you get a bit of a rim light, gives you some separation of a subject. But yeah, depending where you are in the room, it might be quite a large room and you might not be able to use it. You know, I've done things. I think it's Pan Pacific Hotel. That's a very large room. You're not going to really I don't think I would use off camera there. At least
Have to be very directional, right? You'd have to point it straight to wherever you want your subjects to be. But still, even then, I might be on the 8200s or whatever.
Yeah. Or if it's a very, very well lit room as well, like it's not, you'd have to like close things down and make those flashes work quite hard. So, but what's your reasons why you don't use off camera during receptions?
I'm just going to bring it to the audience for a second. I'm just going to say, so hi back to you. Is it, so I can't really read your name from here, brother. Let us know where you're from, and if you have any questions. Ma, thanks for jumping in, mate. Just a questions to you guys. Do we have an audio delay? Is there a bit of an audio delay with us speaking? I would really love to hear that feedback, because I am having a bit of a hard time kind of correcting that delay. So I'm a big enthusiast of off-camera flash. I think off-camera flash is phenomenal. The reason I stopped using it for receptions was I felt like it was a bit too intrusive on the moment, and was a bit distracting because of how bright they were. So I still use them for events, because I feel like events where it's more like a party setting and there's less intimate moments, such as things like speeches where people might be watching. I feel like we can kind of get away with the bright flashes a little bit more. But for weddings, I found that I actually prefer the continuous lights to just be set up and just be left on. And yes, they are obvious and they are there, but I don't think they are as intrusive. I think it's a little bit more just there, because it's continuous. You can turn them off, you can turn them on, and you're not really going to be flashing ongoingly for the entire time. And I just felt like when I had set up flashes for things like maybe it was a speech, perhaps I'm taking attention away from the person actually giving the speech, and I was intruding on the moment, which
But I thought you said lighting was more important.
That's right. So this is this is
a very kind way to think, though. But
I know what you mean.
I'm a hypocrite.
They all service each other.
They all service each other. It's an interplay of all things.
No, I tend to agree with you, to be honest. I think that you don't want to be too intrusive, and I'm sure you're not, because you're pro, but sometimes it's beyond your control that you just have to take quite a bit of photos, and that if that flash is just going, if you've taken like 3 in a row and you're just like, oh, his eyes closed in that one, he's doing a bit of a derpy face in that one, and then you just have to keep going to get the coverage, and that flash is just going.
Yeah, and that's how I shoot, man. Is I shoot very, here's my frame, here's my composition, let's just bang, 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 get that really good frame. And I noticed I was just like, literally like rapid firing, and the flash was just going. So it's like, if I have an electronic shutter, and then I also have a continuous LED light on them, I could get a very similar effect, and I'm not really just blasting them,
Yeah, and no, I think it's a pretty sensible approach. Also, the really intimate moments like first dance or father-daughter dance, I've seen quite a few comment sections on socials where people are just having wars about that. Hey, it's like, you shouldn't use off camera during this, you're ruining the moment. And then some people are like, you got to do it, but I don't know,
each couple's different, man.
Exactly. Everyone's different. You do what works for you. But as a punter, like when I've been at weddings and there has been an off camera flash, sometimes I do honestly find it a little bit distracting. So
That's where I got to with it. So continuous LEDs, I think they're better. They still are distracting, don't get me wrong, but that's my line. I say to them, like, you want the photos, like, come on, you're spending a lot of money on having us here. We can't, if it's a dim lit reception, and even places that aren't dim lit, like, if you talk about the Pan Pacific or the Crown, then you just have this weird color cast stuff, like hotel orange, and you can't really do much with it. It looks flat, it looks dull, it doesn't have that soft, flat, magical look that you might be trying to go for. It's more like muted, dull, everything's one tone. And if you just add, like an office, and if you just add in a little bit of direction with an LED light, then you kind of get that you transform the space, and you're not taking away from the space because you're still capturing the ambience and the light, but you're just giving a little bit of emphasis on where you want the eye to be drawn. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about a lot.
So what constants are you bringing to the reception?
It's my secret.
Okay.
It's on my Instagram. Small rig. The RC 60Bs. Do you want to buy them? I'm actually trying to sell them if you want them.
I'm just keen to know.
I can show you them. I'm gonna grab them. Yeah, you guys have a chat. We have one audience viewer in here at the moment. I'm not sure who's in. What's up, viewer? Let us know where you're from. If you have any questions about photo and video, we are talking about photography and videography for weddings specifically. So I'm gonna bounce out, grab some cool lights to show you guys, and then have a chat to Mark and Luke, some industry legends. I will be back.
See you in a sec, man.
I'm keen to see those lights. How good is James? Keep going to non-camera topics, but how cool is James's purple shirt?
Oh man, that's so nice.
I hugged him before. I was like, "What is this? Velvet?" Like,
now we just want to stroke his shoulders. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
It's the Italian in him. Stylish, man.
Very suave. Very suave.
Yeah.
And look at this tea set that he's brought us.
Oh yeah, his beautiful fiance brought that out. Very kind of her. Yeah. No, good tea. Good tea. Is that the Rubus tea? Or is it just regular? Yeah, no, good tea.
So are you using, what flashes are you using off camera at your weddings?
So I got my Godox V1s. I think there've been a couple of more successes to those with a bit more power and quicker recycle time, but they've been working fine so far. I think going to what we were talking about before in terms of them being intrusive, I think if the room has a certain look, if you bring a constant light in, it's another kind of distraction. So either way, you've got to be able to do your job and get that lighting
absolutely.
But on that note, I try not to rapid fire. I try and read the room. If there's an important moment, an emotional moment, I'm not going to be
no,
just one or two.
Yeah, and that's what makes you a pro. I just mean, puppy.
It's a puppy. Bull in a china shop coming up.
What's up?
Oh my god, he's got so much love to give. Look at him! Look at him! He's so excited.
He's like a pig's.
He can't contain.
He's my puppy. He's gonna open up the the flashes with me. He's like a pig, eh?
Oh, look at him! Oh my goodness.
He's the best. All right. So, okay, Instagram audience, people, viewers, this is my wedding lighting kit. The wedding lighting.
Do you need a hand, man?
Do you want one of us to open up? Oh no, he's got it. He's a capable man. James, yeah. All
right, I got two of these bad boys. They are the RC Smith 60Bs by Smallrig. Smallrig, sponsor me, eh? We love your gear.
Wow, look at that.
They're that big. They look really good.
That's
and they have an attachment on the back that you can. Okay, we're gonna abort mission off Coda. I thought everyone was gonna be like, look how cute your dog is.
He is real cute, mate.
Man, those things are tiny.
They are.
They're tiny.
I reckon they'll be bicolor as well. Surely, maybe even RGB. Are they bicolor, RGB? Or are they? Oh, what are they? Are they bicolor?
Upgrading. I'm upgrading. This is the thing. I was one step ahead. I'll set up to you. I'll move to the next one. No.
Small rig for the big rig over here.
No, actually, I do want to change these because there's a couple of things that are they do have limitations. Yeah. So the way I've kitted this flash unit is I have a MagMod hot shoe on the bottom, so it fits into my regular MagMod hot shoe adapters. That just allows me to have everything interchangeable. So this is a long time of piecing together my kit. It has a power bank adapter on the back, so you can attach that to here, and then you add in your power bank, so the unit is extremely small and you have a lot more control compared to the NFP batteries. So I'm out of breath. Which are extremely big and bulky, and I just prefer to have the power banks, which are 29,000 kind of capacity, and you could just this thing will go all night, man. You know, like a 20% power, and that's all you need. And then the other thing on it is the reflector dish, the beauty dish. I'm a sucker for harsh lighting now. I found everyone was kind of not using harsh lighting, so I was like, I'm going to start using harsh lighting, do something different, and you can get really good flares on it. You know, you shoot it forward, and then it kind of like on the side, you'll be able to get some projectile kind of flares thing that kind of really enhance the scene. What's up, viewers jumping in? I'm just explaining kind of the RC60Bs by Small Rig. These lights are really amazing for wedding receptions. Let me know if you have any questions on them. But yeah, that's my lighting kit. I think they look really, really good.
They're pretty cute.
They're pretty awesome, eh? They don't have Bluetooth. That's the main problem I have with it.
Not being able to control them remotely.
Yeah.
So before Luke and I start a bidding war on these items, what are the other limitations of them?
It's not color, so you can only go by. And I want a color light. And they're 60 watt. I know that I think it's Godox. Godox do a different version. They're about $400 a pop, so I'm gonna get those next.
A bit more power,
a bit more color control. Yeah,
smartphone control.
Yeah. So I think that's a bit better.
This is the thing. The technology is always getting better and better.
It's always getting better,
and you can see the advantages of them. You're like, yeah, that's going to help. That's going to be cool.
It does. It is going to help, and that's the thing with technology, man. Is it does make a difference. You know, you need good technology in order to produce good work. Yeah. So yeah, that's my thought. But I think these lights are really good. That's what I use. I mean, it's kind of, you know, every style is different. I know you prefer softer lighting, so compared to me, yeah,
I'd say softer. I'd say when the dance floor's on, I've been playing with some harder light.
Yeah, harsh light, direct flash and all that kind of stuff, and with off-camera flash.
Speaking of gear, it's kind of interesting. I don't know if we've got many sort of clients or potential clients, but it's just interesting for people to sort of know. Like, it's interesting, you know, people think with regards to the cost of wedding photography, and it is expensive, you know, that comes down to, you know, your experience and the work you can produce, the cost of your gear, the cost of insurance, cost of subscriptions. But one element of gear that isn't considered is backing up.
Storage, man. Storage is very expensive.
I have now got, because I actually know someone whose house burnt down, you know, and if you get robbed or if your house burns down, everything's gone.
It's gone.
And people talk about online storage. We simply produce too much content for it to upload quick enough. Unfortunately, maybe in 10 or 20 years, the internet speeds will be better, but it'll constantly be playing catch up. You can't upload it quick enough.
So let's start with your cards. How many cards do you have? What's your file structure there with cards? Both of you guys, yeah. Go for it.
Oh, man. Yeah.
What's up, Donald? Thanks for jumping in, mate. Let us know if you have any questions. We are talking about photo and video. I was just chatting quickly about my lighting kit for weddings, and that is the RC60Bs by Small Rig. Go check these out, mate. Punch them into YouTube. They're bloody good. Let me know if you have any questions on those as well. About to get into something a bit more dull. Storage. He likes storage. But storage is important. We always need to talk about it. It's a big part of photography. What's up, Saya? Thanks for jumping in. Let us know if you have any questions. So, yeah. Cards. What cards do you guys use?
I'm really glad you brought this up, Luke, because even though it's a bit more of a dull topic, it's an expensive topic, because, you know, when you go to the shop and you're going to buy a new lens, you got a big smile on your face, right? But when you're going to the shop to buy cards or some storage solution, you're like, but it's still so much money.
It's Bitcoin, and it's not as exciting.
But yeah, without deep diving into too much, because I don't think, I mean, yeah, it's not as of a hot topic as lenses or cameras. But I shoot on angel bird cards. I love angel birds. I've never been let down by them.
I broke one.
You've been let down by one?
That camera.
Is it Canon's fault? No, just kidding.
It could be.
I shoot on CF Express A and then V90 SDs, and then when I get home,
how much are they each?
I have 256 gigabyte cards and then 128s, kind of as like a
initial cost of purchasing them.
Oh man. So the CF Express A's 256s, I got a pair of them. I think it was $800+ on end of financial year sale. So it's like, and that's probably going to get you through if you're shooting to 2 cards, which I always do, because you only have to have it fail once for you to never do it again. Back in, but this was pre Angel Bird, but But yeah, so if you're shooting to two cards simultaneously, 256 gigs video wise is only going to get you through like half a wedding, and on one body too. So yeah, and then when I get home, I pop it all on the SSD, Samsung T7 or T9, and then have a second copy to the NAS. So
NAS,
local network storage at home.
How large is that NAS for you? How many terabytes you got in there?
How many terabytes? I got 416
That's
16
a lot, man.
terabyte
You got to
drives.
kit it out. Yep.
Yeah.
You have the
and,
RAID backup going and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's right. Like SHR1, so you get one drive of redundancy. So basically, if any one drive fails in the NAS, it's not 1-to-1 ratio. So you don't need one drive to back up another drive. Basically, you can rebuild. You can rebuild any one drive from the remaining 3 if they fail. I don't know how the math works. It's some people smarter than I that have
coding,
done that
something like that.
backup system, but it spreads the data across all 4
Everything,
drives, and
you need one of those. I was going to move over to the Synology version, but I decided not to because I wanted to be able to plug it into my network and have people access the files off it, but I needed a 10 gigabyte network speed universally around the entire kind of property, so it needs to have a 10 GB port here, 10 GB port in my computer, and then your Wi-Fi needs to support it as well, and it was just a whole kind of process to get your own server set up. So I decided it's better to have a DAS, I think, just a direct attached storage device, and continually add more HDDs to that. So I'm in the process now of wanting to switch and then move over to like a 6-bay with 20 terabytes hard drives in there, and just layer it all and kind of run with it. It's about $2,500 investment. How about you, Luke? What are you using, man?
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, go, man.
Buckle
in, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle in, boys and girls.
Storage solutions.
Man. So I just bought a new NAS. So I had a 4-bay for the longest time in Synology, and I had 24 terabytes in that 4-bay NAS, and with redundancy in the way the calculations work, you end up with about 60 gigs usage. I've currently got 50 gigs in use, so I ended up buying an 8-bay. I've transferred those 4 into that, and now I can expand that out. I'm using the old 4-bay.
What's the cost of this, man?
Sorry to interrupt.
Just
do you
say
mean
couples
terabytes or
Terabytes.
Yeah, sorry.
Did I say gigs?
I was like 50.
I mean,
you must be an efficient shooter.
compression.
5
compression.
photos everywhere.
Terabytes.
Sorry, go on.
Just for potential couples and prospects, let's say, so they understand, how much are you spending on an 8-bay NAS with the hard drives?
Well, so I'm waiting on these hard drives to come, but if I'm to give you the cost, so I've got 2 NASs, but if I'm just to give you the cost of the single new NAS, the current 424 terabytes that are in it, and let's say the 424 that are coming, 2 of which will go in this, 2 are going to go in the other
24 terabytes.
So I'll have 8 total, plus a couple of 22s, a couple of 8s.
I didn't even know you could get.
There's 28s and 30s available.
Really? I didn't even know that. How
How
much?
much? They're coin, my
Yeah,
friend.
let's get into the costs. How much are they?
So I've ended up getting some slightly different ones for these 4 that are coming, but over here you're talking $1,000 per drive for the 24 terabytes. The system itself is about $1,800. So 8 drives plus the thing, you're talking $9,000.
Yep.
In all fairness, that's been years of investment, slowly drip, buying those things. I didn't do it in one hit.
That's a lot of money, man.
It is, but the way I rationed it, like I said, I've had someone close to us, their house burnt down. It was an electrical fire.
Yeah.
It's a complete accident. Thank God they're all okay. They had insurance for the house. And this is the thing, your insurance, all right, you can replace all of your items. But if you've got all of your year's work, let's say you even, in such a scenario, the work you're working on that clients don't have, you can grab your SSDs and get out the door. So no clients can actually lose their work. Okay, so that's covered. But if you've got years and years of work, video work, photo work that you've done, do you want all that to disappear because you didn't spend a few grand, like that you can never go back to it and re-edit it? you know, or if a client comes to you in a few years that, you know, they've lost their stuff. Like in my contract, it says after 90 days, I won't have your stuff anymore. You know, I've sent it to you. It's now your responsibility. What they don't know, and don't hold me to this, is that I keep it forever. You know, so every client that comes to me, I keep their stuff forever. If someone comes to me in 5 years and says, oh my God, we've lost all our wedding stuff, do you happen to still have it? The answer is yes, I still have it. But in case I change that down the track, in the contract it says 90 days. So yeah.
There you go.
Over time, over years, our style can change a little bit in video and in photo in terms of how we want to edit things, the color grade we might give, the color on the photos. And so the ability to go back to some beautiful photos and some beautiful videos.
Yeah, that's very true.
And change it all up and then be able to show, actually, this is what we can produce and this is our current look. Well, you're going to lose all that. You know, you're going to lose the ability to give clients what they had if they lose it, because people do. I've had actually a friend.
I'm gonna bring you that back to that. Mm-hmm. So first I'm gonna bring in Hustler. What's up, Hustler? Good morning to you, mate. Tanzania. I don't even know where that is, mate. Where are you? That's awesome. Yeah, there you go. Wow. We are learning new countries every day. We're from Perth, West Australia. We're wedding photographers and videographers. So your friend who lost all his stuff in a fire. Now, how do you protect against that? Because you have a NAS.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, great question. So my little 4-bay, I was going to kind of make that work. And with regards to, you know, freeing up storage when it comes to weddings, video is definitely the data hog. And keeping the exported files is one thing. Keeping maybe the gimbal footage is another, but another big data hog is just the A cam and B cams when you're doing like the ceremony and stuff. And I was potentially going to go back and just slowly start removing all that. But anyway,
you keep all of that.
At the moment, but when I hit a ceiling, I'll go back and I'll slowly start to remove some of the older stuff. But I'll always keep the exported files of both at the very least, and the photos for sure.
I keep the photos. I think the photos are keepable. I cull all the raws that were unedited.
The ones that you chose not to. Mm-hmm. That's so eventually when you hit that ceiling, they're the things you get rid of.
About 12 months, yeah.
But yeah, in terms of being able to combat the fire or theft, unfortunately, it does happen. So I had the 4-bay and I've still got the 4-bay. I've invested in the 8-bay. And so it's been 12 or 18 months of sort of being prepared to part with the money and negotiating with myself that, you know, I'm happy to do this, but also thinking about how it would work. So I'm going to have the 8-bay at home in my home office. The 4-bay will be at a family's place and it will be seeded at home. So the initial 50 terabytes will take about a week to transfer across while connected directly via Ethernet. And then it will just be the jobs that come in. Yeah.
Audio still live?
Audio still live?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just for those who can still hear, yeah, basically the 8-bay will be my main NAS at home. And then the 4-bay is going to then be put off-site once it's seeded. So once it's got all of the data there. And that's going to be off-site. And then the beauty of the Synology software is it can talk to each other quite easily. And we'll just upload the new stuff that comes to it. So
Synology is brilliant. Mm-hmm. Can't fault it. Hey, I got the 4-bay as well. Mm-hmm. Haven't got an off-site solution yet. That's still on-site, but, you know, in a separate room. But, yeah. Yeah,
so just to clarify, Luke, you got your 8-bay at home with the 4 hard drives in there, and that's going to do a RAID system backup.
Yeah,
and then
so they're both in RAID, yeah.
And you're going to have an off-site system as well that your Synology is going to sync to.
Correct.
And then that way you're going to have 2 kind of units that are identical to each other.
Mirrored, yeah.
One's on-site, one's off-site. Correct.
So there's in the IT world, in the data world, they talk about backup as a 3-2-1 backup. You should have 3 copies, 2 on-site, 1 off-site. That is the gold standard, and that's what I've always heard. So, but it really depends. Like, I'm the only person that I know in the industry, not that I talk with everyone, who is investing in that level.
That's a very high level to invest. I certainly hasn't, yeah.
But I think it's worth it because selfishly, like I said, you know, it's the work that I've done over the years, and I want to be able to preserve it for the clients if they ever come back to me, and that is a big part of it. But be able to always go back to it, to re-edit it as the styles change, and you know, it's kind of like if you're an artist, you know. And
how often do you re-edit photos from the past?
It's happened a couple of times. I'll just give them a slight tweak. But the beauty is, like, we work so much as well that you can keep obviously putting out the new stuff. But
yeah.
I just think if you've taken beautiful photos over the years, like
Why not go back?
would you want to delete them? Like,
I re-edit my old photos all the time. So
yeah,
something that I've
yeah.
got really big into doing with photo editing is exposure masking, and I'm really going in and just like fine tuning. So my photos are layered. They're not just they're so you have the raw image that I do my conversions to, but then I layer on brushes after brush. And some images, like that photo I took with you, that I put on my Instagram of the fake sunset. There's like 10 brushes in there. So to retain the contrast and to get the colors a certain way, to remove the objects that I wanted to remove, and to kind of fake that sunset glow. And what I'm doing is I'm just brushing into the image and doing adjustment, and then brushing again and doing more adjustment, and I just continually go in and add. So I could spend like 30 minutes to an hour on a photo, long time.
Yeah.
I did a series of images, commercial. Some of those photos took me an hour to edit because there were so many images combined together, and I needed to refine them really precisely. And that was what the job demanded. And yeah, I think, that process and changes over time. And I always go back and look at my old photos and go, how am I going to apply these new techniques that I've learned to these old images? And some of my favorite photos that I've been publishing to Instagram have been taken on my first weddings. And I've been looking at them and going, holy shit, I took that in like 2018. Like, even, like that's a long time ago. And yeah, I always amaze myself. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just beautiful to be able to do it. And yeah, it's is it excessive? Maybe you probably don't need quite as much storage, or
I think you store a lot. You store a lot. Because you're storing your A, B, and C cam. Do you do that, Mark?
Yeah, at the moment,
Wow.
but I think that, like Luke said, we have a very similar approach in terms of backing up everything. I don't do 3, 2, 1. I just have 2 copies of everything.
Yeah. Which I did for many years.
That's simply why it says in the contract that you only keep it for 90, or you're only obligated to keep it for 90 days. Yeah. I will make best, if you ask me for it after 90 days, I will make best efforts to get it to you. It's just that I can't guarantee it because there's things beyond your control. Like if there, unfortunately is a fire or a theft, then at least I'm not legally obligated to give it to you. But if you ask for it, we'll make best efforts to get it to you, right?
Absolutely.
And then having the flexibility to re-edit stuff if you feel your style changing over time is nice. But yeah, once I start hitting the ceiling on the NAS, I think the first thing you go back and delete is the camera that's running through the whole ceremony that you've used.
I'm really impressed you guys keep them, to be honest, because I feel like I would run out of storage in a year. Yeah. Truthfully, like what are you shooting on your running cameras? Are you using 1080p or using 4K?
Yeah, I am using 4K.
Using 4K, and how much? And how big's a wedding for you, man?
But the thing is I don't roll all 3 cameras the whole time. We spoke about this last time. Remember, I only roll 1 camera for the full ceremony.
Gotcha.
The other one is roaming, and I'm coming on and off because I don't offer the full cut of the ceremony in my base package. Yeah. I only you can add it on if you like. I just
your clients personally don't want it.
Yeah, I just be honest with them.
How large are your full wedding days? Like how are they, like 500 gig?
Yeah, around 500
gig.
Yeah, 500 gig.
So on a 60 terabyte NAS, you can have 120 weddings.
No. So I've got 64 terabytes on the NAS, and then because I use SHR1, the redundancy is just 1 drive, so you get about 48 terabyte. But I've only implemented that solution recently, so I've still got heaps of stuff on old double backup drives that I've not put on the NAS yet. So, but when I
it's about 200 weddings, isn't it? That you can fit 200.
Yeah, around. But I mean, weddings are only kind of a portion, probably a third of the work that I do. So, and the more commercial stuff, because they're not memories, you can afford to get rid of a little bit more. It's just that when it's something so emotional, you don't want to get rid of it unless you have to. But when I was working it out in terms of, because I'm a former reformed finance boy, but when I was buying the NAS, I was like, how much is it currently costing me to put all this stuff on just, you know, the desktop drives versus if I got a NAS? And I figured it out to be about, from memory, $100 per terabyte.
$100 per terabyte.
If you invest in a NAS.
And how much is it if you don't?
If you don't, and you want a reasonable speed that, I mean, it's not even reasonable. It's almost a pain to edit off. You have to make proxies and everything. But I think from memory, I was like $120 per terabyte on, you know, just buying the over-the-counter cheapies from Officeworks, and then $100 per terabyte if I got the NAS. I was like, well, that's a more foolproof system. It's more reliable. It's more seamless, and it's cheaper per terabyte. That's how I justified it to myself.
And what is do you do proxies? I do proxies on every project. That's all.
I
edit directly from the raw footage, do you?
I just set the playback to either half, or if I'm doing layers and masking, a quarter, and I usually get away with not having to do proxies. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. I think it's a Canon codec problem, to be honest.
Okay.
I think Canon codecs aren't as easy to edit off. What's a Sony codec?
Mine's just MP4, I think.
Yeah, so you can do XAVC intra and XAVC S. Yeah. And I think that S is quite a bit smaller, but the quality is like marginal. So I just stick with
I think we use XEVC. No, we don't. We have a special codec that Canon developed for 4K.
Right.
And I forget what it's called. It's in the camera. I can have a look after. It might be, but I build proxies every time.
Yeah,
I'm the same as you.
Yeah, same as me. Yeah. So you have your NAS, so you have your files on, then you build onto SSD.
So I've got two SSDs that I use as like working drives. So I've only just, since doing all this NAS work, improved my connectivity in terms of accessing the stuff on my NAS. I've never used it as a working NAS. It's just been long-term storage. And I've just used my SSDs as working storage, and they're a couple of 4 terabytes. And so I'll have everything there for the most recent jobs. It's all synced and backed up to the NAS as a backup. But when I come to the next 2 or 3 projects, I'll just in advance create proxies for them, so that when I jump in, scrubbing super quick and easy, and it's all in like 1080p, and it's just the full size and quality of the proxy, but just really easy. I'm on an M1 Pro, MacBook Pro.
Oh, you're on a Mac.
And I never was a Mac guy. But then when I looked at like, I want to be portable with a laptop, what's the best at the time? That's what it was.
Yeah.
We have eerily similar setups. So I don't typically edit off the NAS either. I have 2 SSDs that are my working drives, but I just haven't found.
So you drag it across. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so I get home from the wedding or the whatever it is, and I go from my SSDs onto the SSD in the first instance because it's quicker.
Yeah.
What's in your computer, man?
I got the M1 as well, but the Max.
Oh yeah.
So
is it the laptop version? The MacBook Pro. Yeah.
Wow, you're editing on a laptop as well. You don't have to build proxies.
They're good, man.
They're insanely quick, man. The silicon chips are really, and maybe it's the difference between the Max and the Pro where I haven't had to.
Max is definitely better.
Had to do the proxies. To be fair, if I'm like, oh, I want to paint in a gradient on that sky and just make it a bit bluer and get some more shape from the clouds, but not affect the rest of the image, and then it's playing back in 4K 50 frames, and then it's like starting to get tired, I probably should make proxies, but then I just flick the playback to like quarter and just make sure I get it right. And then when it exports,
that's just put that mic right up to you, mate, when you talk into it.
Sorry.
There you go. So then you're sounding super crisp. That's super interesting. Wow, look at the workflows. I'm a PC guy. I think PCs are I don't know. I like them.
Hey, like Apple sponsor me, but I'll sell you on Mac for a second.
Whatever works for you guys.
Oh, look, if it works, it works. 100%. But
let's bring the topic more into weddings.
Sure.
I want to dive into the wedding kind of thing. Let's talk about the wedding tax. You know that buzzword going around at the moment, wedding tax? Like vendors are ripping people off.
Yeah. Yeah, with my $9,000 NAS system.
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
everything's backed up. Yeah,
So
no.
let's if there was a couple and they were out there and they were looking for a photographer and they were going, just don't tell them it's a wedding, because then they will give you the service or a better rate, because everyone's charging more because it's a wedding. What would you say to them?
I would say, for example, if it's an event, well, how important is a birthday party to you? Let's say not like a 50th or something, but like a 28th birthday party to you. How important is that to you, and how much of that are you going to remember when you're 50, 60 years old? How much of that are you going to talk to your grandchildren about versus your wedding day? How many birthdays are you going to have versus how many wedding days are you going to have? So I bring that back to the pressure of getting it right. There is no room for error. The work involved in doing so, in terms of all of the gear that you have, being aware of it inside and out so you can problem solve on the spot, they're very different. Someone's birthday, you rock up, it's very casual. You don't have to do much. You don't discuss with them about a schedule for the day. You don't have to give them advice about how to run the day or best practices. You're not liaising with different vendors throughout the day. There's less pressure. There's just a lot less going on. It's a very different day. And the pressure of getting it right, making sure you do, it's not quite there. If at the birthday party you miss a hug, well, you'll get the next one. But if you miss the first kiss,
it's a big difference. So what you're saying is you want to make sure your wedding is captured in the best possible way, and there's certain processes that you do. Not just your storage, which is your backup, that costs $9,000, but there's also the skill set that you possess, which has taken many years to get. So do you think let's break this up into two. Do you think there are wedding vendors out there ripping people off?
I would say, I wouldn't use that terminology, but let's say they might be overcharging in my mind if it's their second or third wedding and they've got the most basic equipment. They don't know how to use it. They don't have the experience, but they want to charge $4,000 to $6,000 for a full day. And it's like, maybe you've done a TAFE course for a few years, but maybe you haven't. Maybe you've just decided this is what you want to do. So outside of that, no, because the other thing is like, well, yes, there's 365 days in a year, but how many people are getting married on a Tuesday? There's 52 Saturdays. And so the amount of work you can do is significantly reduced. So yes, there might be some Friday and Sunday weddings, but overwhelmingly, most of them are Saturdays.
Yeah.
So you've got a very limited number of dates you're available versus, again, birthday parties. You might do.
You take them all the time. Yeah. Take them through winter, take them through summer. You can take multiple in a night, because there's not as a distinct skill set that you need to be able to produce the work. I think weddings are those things that they're so personal, like, and when I was looking for my wedding photographer, I was looking at the style and the techniques that he uses, and I was picking it apart. And I think a lot of people do that to my work as well. And then they'll cross-reference other people's work, and they pick something that they really resonate with. And then they go, oh yeah, we really want this guy. We really want his work. Let's book him in. And then, like you said, if I was pursuing like a full-time only doing wedding, and then that's all I took, it would be limited to 52, probably less.
And less, because no one wants to get married on a 42-degree day or on a day that it's raining. So the primary wedding months maybe February, March, April, May, and then September, October, November. They're the biggest. So really, there's only almost 30 weekends of the year that you're really kind of getting work. And yes, you might book multiple in. Might get a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You might get a Thursday here and there. But truthfully, I think most people are getting around 40 weddings a year is what like a full-time wedding photographer is doing. So yeah, I think couples need to ask themselves and be truthful to themselves. Like you said, how much does it mean to you? Like, do you want someone who is kind of not proficient, or do you want someone who is proficient, like Luke? And then if you want someone like Luke who's devoting his whole life to it and providing good service, or Mark or James,
or someone like Mark, who's you've been doing this since 8 years old, man. His first time he picked up a camera.
Oh, wow. You're too kind. I mean, again, I just want to echo what Luke said. You know what I mean? I think it's very, very easy to call something expensive when you never had to build it yourself before. You know, it's a lot of work goes into it, and I think it's a natural tendency for people to compare your rates to their wage. Like that's the calculation they start doing in their head, where they think, oh, you know, just take that price point that Luke mentioned before, $5,000 for a full day, and they're like, well, that converts to, you know, almost could be like $400 or $500 an hour, and then they start comparing it to their wage, which might be, you know, $80 or $100 an hour, or whatever. But you know, they don't have to pay for insurance, they don't have to pay for comprehensive ICT storage, and they don't have to bring $50,000 worth of equipment to the day. And then on top of that, for, I don't know about you guys, but for every hour I shoot, I reckon I edit for 3 hours.
For video, yeah.
Yeah. 1 to 3. So
yeah, a 10-hour day would equate to about 30 hours of video post-production.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'm glad to know that I'm as efficient of an editor as James. But yeah, I think and it's fair enough, natural tendency for people to compare their wage in a more in a setting where they have a salary to your rates, and then not really consider all the back end costs that you have to take on to actually provide it, before even mentioning, you know, the actual skills and talent that you've had to build up over the years to create that look or that style. But unfortunately, some people have this mentality that all it is just pointing. And I think phones have a lot to do with this mentality. Is all you have to do is just point and then press the red button, and it's good.
Yeah, look
a lot more goes into
your
it.
photo than look at mine.
And then you get the
bro.
Your camera must take such good photos, and I always go, your computer must send such good emails. That's my usual response to that.
I steal that.
And I don't want to be too defensive, but we put our heart and soul into it.
I'm cheeky. Yeah, I'm cheeky as well. Let's go down this rabbit hole a little bit more. So wedding couple out there, they're looking for a wedding photographer. They're like, you know, we'll spend between $2,000 and $3,000 for a wedding photographer for the 10-hour day. Will they ever increase their budget to book someone who's charging between $5,000 and $6,000 a day? What do you guys think? You think they would?
It's there's two different things we're discussing. We're talking about the price, but we're talking about value, and it's how many people consider value. Budget's important. You know, I got married this year, but we're having a baby. So we had to think carefully about budget. And so it really depends.
So they got the shittest videographer to come to their wedding.
FYI, these
I wonder who photographed that.
It was me.
Coincidentally, these guys got the best. Got the best.
I couldn't miss that opportunity.
Luke scouted us.
Put myself down.
By budget, I mean, I didn't get these guys for 10 hours. I had a half day. That's why. But that's because we've got a baby. I've got a baby coming next month. So if I didn't, I would have had the whole day. Everyone's budget's different, and I totally appreciate that. So there are a wide gamut of people in the field, and some people are fresh, and they will tell you they're fresh, and they're $1,000 for the day. Some people are veterans of 10 years, and they're pure artists with what they do, and they might cost 10 grand, and there's a lot in between. So I think it's understanding what it is you're looking to invest in, what your budgets are, is important. It can't be ignored. You don't want to be taking out massive loans at high interest in order to pay for your wedding if you can avoid that. But understanding that with all the time that you're investing in your wedding, the energy, the money, what you're going to have decades down the track of your photos and videos.
You're not going to remember the money. You're gonna remember the images.
Exactly.
In 10 years from now, you're not going to remember the $5,000.
Yeah.
It's going to seem probably minute, actually, in comparison to the memories you do have.
Yeah.
And that's something.
I was going to say, it sounds cliche, but it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
I've taken photos of people who have passed on, and then I've had those people who come back to me and then go, those photos are the most valuable photos in the world to me. They mean everything to me.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen in 10 years. And you know, you could have some amazing photos or you could not. And you know, it's you really need to ask yourself that question, how valuable is photography? I personally think photography is invaluable. I don't think you can put a price on it. I think those memories that you're going to have and you're going to be able to look back on forever, they're everything. You know, I have photos from 10 years ago. They're everything for me. You know, it's such a privilege and such an important part of our society. Our society nowadays is that we do have that privilege to be able to document things and look back on them and remember them. And I think it's worth every cent. Yeah, let's take it more from a photographer's perspective. There's a lot of photographers out there who are like, oh, a lot of people coming into the industry taking my work. They're stealing my jobs. They're too cheap. They're too cheap. They took our jobs. What do you say to those guys who are freaking out about, you know, newbies coming to the industry, stealing our work, that they're taking all our jobs?
Can I just quote Rogan, then I'll hand it straight to you? That is a famine mentality, and go.
Oh my God.
In my opinion.
I think look, you have to adapt, and like new blood makes you stronger, right? Mm-hmm. So if there are other people doing things differently, and just because you don't agree with it doesn't make it wrong. You just have to adapt and try and make your product and service still relevant and in demand, because I hear a lot of
I love that, man. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Like I hear a lot of gatekeeper videographers say, content creators, I'm not shooting a wedding if there's a content creator there. And I'm like, man, like some people just want to have nice candid phone footage that isn't super high quality. It's not narrative driven, but it's just there. Like
quick to share,
just because they want it, it does. I just personally don't agree. I'm happy to work with a content creator for sure, as long as there's a respect for, you know, I'm trying to create something a bit more polished. So if you know, can we work around each other so I can get that, as long as there's a healthy working relationship there. I don't understand the animosity towards new things like content creators. If the client wants it, then that's what the client wants, right? So
you're a team. You all need to work together.
Yeah, and I think you're never, as a vendor or as a business owner, you're never going to have that ability to control what other people want and what other people are purchasing. The only thing you can do is think of how you can make your service better. You need to be aware to what the competition is doing and to what other people are doing, but you can't become over obsessed with it, because that's just going to eat into you. You know what I mean? You need to look at your own service and how you can improve it. And that's my opinion on it. So it's like, don't worry about what other people are doing. It's that subtle art of not giving a fuck, you know? What's his name?
The book. Mark something, I think.
Yeah.
The author of the book.
Yeah. Anyway, it's that mentality. It's like, don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck what other people are doing. Think about and worry about yourself.
Yeah.
And yes, you know, you're not going to be a pretentious asshole, but what that means is you're not going to become obsessed and become a Karen. You know, you're not going to be like, oh, you're doing this. That means I'm going to get really upset with that. It's like, no, you're just going to see that someone's doing that, go, is there anything here for me, and how am I going to bring it into my own service and improve what I'm doing, and focus on improving yourself. And that's my mentality with a lot of things.
Yeah. That's such a great way to look at it, because ultimately business is supply and demand, right? But if what you're supplying is you, and you don't care about conforming to, you know, I mean, you can draw inspiration from others, but you don't necessarily conform to a trend or what other people are doing. If that's what you supply, the demand you meet, those are the clients that are going to appreciate your work, and they won't mind paying your rates because it's your work. It's got your visual flair to it.
But you achieve that visual flair through continually looking at your work and going, how can I improve it? And making small incremental adjustments over time. Not only your work, but your service. I think it's the other thing. It's that I think people pay for service as well. Which we will go into in a second, but I just want to know Luke's thoughts on that. What do you reckon, Luke?
Oh, there's a lot we were talking about there. No, I agree with everything that we said there. In terms of like whether it's content creators or new up and comers,
how do you improve your service?
In the same way, like when you're editing, you want to get up and go away for a while and come back to it with fresh eyes. Forgetting about stuff for a little while, let the subconscious do some work. Even if it's not, just coming back with fresh eyes and looking, even thinking about what it is you're doing in terms of processes and offerings and what you're producing.
So you like pick it apart and you like come back to it.
It's not necessarily getting really into the weeds with everything, but just at least broadly, and then maybe a step in or two, and just thinking, how can you do better in all different aspects? And that can be everything from outside processes that clients never see, to how you market yourself, to your gear, and then obviously the core things like the service that you're offering, the products that you're delivering. So there's so many different aspects to constantly be thinking about, to be more efficient, to be better at what you do, to make your life easier, to make the offering better for people, and evaluating what you think you're worth. For the longest time, I didn't charge enough. I could make a living, I could survive, but I was doing jobs and actually feeling a little upset, and I didn't know why. I felt a bit weird going to them.
You felt like you were not.
I didn't understand. I didn't register with me. Like, why is it I'm not happy to be here? This was years ago, and it would be smaller jobs. It wouldn't necessarily be weddings because they're kind of fun anyway. But I realized I wasn't charging enough, and I was like, oh, I don't feel like I'm valued enough. I don't feel like I'm charging myself enough, which was not a fault for anyone who booked me. That was up to me to price myself accordingly. So, but bringing it back to like new people coming, there can be inspiration. And I know everyone talks about Rogan. He is the podcast godfather.
He's the godfather of podcasting.
He
I love
is,
Joe Rogan.
And he points to other people, but for the masses, it's him. And he's a comedian as well. And he talks about, getting jealous of other comedians and like that mentality that he used to have. And I've heard him talk about that a few times. And I think that that's the same sort of thing. You can, if someone is up and coming and they produce beautiful work, you can maybe hate on them because there's actually elements of jealousy there. Or you can go, good on them, fantastic for them, I wish them every success, what can I learn from them?
That's exactly right.
And
That's a beautiful mindset, man. Open-minded.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I don't think you want to try and draw competition or hatred towards other people. It's a humbling thing seeing new up-and-comers come in. I see it. I've seen it. I think I had this conversation with you last time about the mixed martial arts resemblance, similar to the Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan being a UFC commentator as well. I've seen a couple of generational fighters now. They come in, they master like a skill set. They come up, they get to the championship, and then funnily enough, let's say that someone else comes into the competition with their skill set that they've observed, but they've kind of brought in a couple of new things, and then that they come up, then they eventually overthrow the champion, and then this cycle continues. It's almost like new blood comes into the industry, and the older blood try and adapt, but the new blood, have all these new skill sets and new attributes and new kind of knowledge that they kind of are taking from everyone, who they're observing. And I think, it's funny and it's a humbling experience in a way, because seeing how this kind of really dog world work, it's kind of given me a mindset that I'm just like open and I know that the way I do things isn't probably the best way to do them. There's always ways to improve it, and I'm always trying to take inspiration from everyone. I'm trying to take inspiration from new people, from the older people, and I'm just trying to kind of bring it all together and make my own kind of thing. How can I improve my own service by taking inspiration from all of these great kind of role models and figures that are out there. What's up, viewers who are jumping in? I think we got different films in at the moment. What's up, man? If you have any questions on photo and video, we are doing a photography and videography podcast. We are both specializing in weddings and commercials. So ask away, man. We got Mark Wong as well, who is in here. Mark, what's your opinion? Do you watch any UFC?
I am. I respect UFC, but
man.
I'm a hyper obsessed with boxing.
You're a boxer.
Yeah,
there you go.
Been boxing for a while, and I just I love the sport. It just as a fan, because there's less going on in terms of just being striking with hands. It's that there's like it's the hands are kind of more refined, and there's more sub styles in there. So I'm super obsessed with boxing. I do it pretty much every second day.
Do you? There you go.
Yeah.
Do you know Ilya Topuria, who's a boxing expert in the mixed martial arts at the moment?
I know is that the same surname as Dustin Poirier?
Ilya Topuria, Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier actually just retired. He had his retiring fight a couple of weeks ago. With Max Holloway. He's his Hawaiian boxer. Ilya Topuria, I think there's talks about him fighting Canelo.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So he might jump ship. the Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather kind of thing happening.
The big crossovers.
Yeah.
No, it's starting any kind of martial art, I think, really helps anything you do in life.
Yeah, man.
Just because it teaches you humbleness and discipline, because you walk into a gym.
You're never going to be the best, man.
Yeah, you leave your ego at the door, because you get the tough. There's this. I think it's a common misconception that the biggest, toughest guy wins the fight, because you walk into a gym and you get lit up by like a little teenager because they understand the art.
But that's it. But different styles counter certain styles. So you might be the best at one thing, but there's going to be someone better at you in another component, and you're never going to be the best. There is no such thing as the best.
Yeah.
And
well, styles make
styles make fights.
Styles make fights. Yep. Look at going so off topic here, but like Ali had the toughest fight of his life with Fraser. He said it was the closest he's ever been to death, and he had a good scrap with George Foreman too. So you'd think Foreman and Fraser would have a really close fight. No. Foreman absolutely disposed of Fraser with ease just because of the styles. It wasn't that Fraser wasn't amazing, is that Fraser has this style where he kind of bobs and applies pressure, and one of Foreman's strengths is timing an uppercut. And when you got a shorter guy coming in and a longer guy with great timing, walk you into the uppercut. It's just so those styles match up. But yeah, circling back to photo video, just like learning that discipline and the calm mindset, because when you're in a wedding day, for example, and the first kiss is happening and an auntie's walked in front of your camera with an iPad, and all that pressure happens where you have to find a quick solution, that kind of level-headedness I think I've drawn from the martial arts world, because absolutely. You kind of have to learn that when someone's trying to...
I did martial arts for 10 years as a child growing up until about 20. And yeah, I think it gives you that. It gives you that discipline and that open mind. And I think that's what you need. But the other part of that, is, like you said, is the calmness. So how do you remain calm on a wedding day? And that's such an important part, because if you're not calm, then is going to make things worse. I think stress is an eater of performance. If you're too stressed, like stress is good in small amounts, but when you get overly stressed in these certain moments, you're probably going to fumble a lot more than if you just had that level head and clear approach. Wedding horror stories. Have you guys ever missed a first kiss?
Once. And I've got pretty good reason. And almost once, which was good. So the once one was in church, and it was essentially the priest, bless him. They did whatever it was they were doing before they would normally do a kiss. We didn't quite realize when they were going to do it. And so they did their various things, and then they kind of went back to go and sit in their chair. And so me and my videographer, we was like, okay, well, we'll go and walk around the sides. And then the priest went, oh, and you guys are supposed to kiss. So we kind of got the kiss, but it wasn't down the aisle. You know what I mean? So it was like, so it wasn't like your normal kiss.
So the priest didn't initiate the kiss.
And then remembered like halfway. So, but the only
you got one job, bro. No.
No comment.
It's the most important part, man. Come on.
The only other time was actually only last month in one of the weddings I got the kiss, but there was a bit of a scary moment. I was on video, and we're moments away, probably 60 seconds away from the first kiss, and I'm just down the aisle, I'm recording, and suddenly my camera just froze up. Nah, you got no storage. I'm like, excuse me? I'm supposed to have like 2.5 hours on there. And I'm like, what? So there's guests standing in front of all my gear. I couldn't go and grab something. And in the moment, I had to work out a solution.
Do you think this is why it's important to have two cameras on you at all times?
Well, this was video, so I had a gimbal. So
I had a gimbal?
Camera. Yeah. So I got one camera, one gimbal. So I had to figure out a solution
in
that moment. In that moment, at all times with my setup, I've got a monitor on there as well. I've got two cards recording simultaneously, and everything's recording to the monitor as well. Just coincidentally, I mainly use it for viewing, but it's there as a backup. Why not? In the moment, even under pressure, I had to figure out, what do I do? Okay, great. rip out one of the cards, put it in my pocket. That's going to save everything from before. And then quickly format this other one and go. And that's what I did. And I got everything. Was it ideal? No, but it worked and I got it all.
So you started filming to your second card.
So they were both recording to simultaneously. And for whatever reason, they came up that they were full. I format all my stuff before a wedding. Maybe that one maybe I missed that one. I think I did. I think that was what it was.
That was the problem. Yeah, right.
It was a simple mistake on my part, but I found a solution, got it done. And, will I be triple and quadruple checking that in future? Yes,
because that's a lot.
It is. But stressful. Didn't miss it. Got it sorted. But those things happen. Gear can break. Gear can have errors and problems. Sometimes we'll make a mistake. We're human, and being able to quickly find a fix, sort it out.
That's what makes someone professional, man. That's it. Go for it, man.
Sorry to bring it back to price, but that's what you're paying for, because Luke must have been holding thousands of dollars worth of equipment that he's invested in. It's let him down, and he has the experience to have fail-safe procedures to come up with an alternative and not miss your moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's the experience, and it's
come over this way a little bit, buddy.
This way?
Yeah. No,
I'm sorry, I'm speaking directly into it.
Shuffle this way.
Oh, I'm not in the shot. So I was leaning into the corner there. But
yeah,
that still came through, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Keep going, yeah.
So that's part of the experience, and you can have the best gear, but it'll still from time to time let you down and fail fit.
I had one of my cameras, the R5 Mark II, when I just got it. Something happened, and then it just like stopped filming. And then I was like, surely it's still going to be on there. I have a $800 card in there, the CF Express 512 gig, and a $500 backup card that's just filming 1080p version 2. And I was like, surely be in there. And then when I went to look at it, it wasn't in there. The file was corrupt. It was the file of the bride's speech.
Oh, no.
And I was like, what happened? And then it was all there. It was like all coded. I just paid for the software to get it removed, and that was like a lot of time and not only time but money. It was like something like $500 for me to like pay for this too, but you do it because it's just what you're supposed to do as a professional. And so I don't know, there's like these kind of hiccups that come along the way. You need backup gear, you need to be willing to spend money on recovering certain things. What's your experience, Mark? Have you had any horror stories that you kind of overcome?
No, I haven't had any horror stories, fortunately. Actually, Luke's wedding. No, just kidding. No, I haven't had any horror stories. I have had a similar situation with the cards, but I managed to basically Mac Finder and Lightroom was just saying that the card was corrupted. But because I had shot to a second card, it was
the second card.
Went to the second card and it was fine. Sorry, it wasn't fine.
What's up, Callan? What's up, Hannah? Thanks for jumping in, guys. Let us know if you have any questions on photo and video. We're still going to go for probably another 30 minutes or so. You guys hanging in there well? Having fun?
Yeah, having
great,
fun.
Brilliant,
for sure.
Great. Let's keep it going. Ask us some questions, guys. I've been neglecting the audience a little bit. It's really hard to bring the audience into it as we're kind of having a conversation. I know it's a bit intrusive and cutting people off, but I think we should. Get some questions. Love, back to you, my man. Appreciate it. Get on the keyboards, both of you. Ask us some questions. I need to get my podcast voice down. All right, let's keep it going, Mark. What are you saying? Wrap it. Preach it.
Basically, the more we talk, we have all these kind of weird similarities from South Park references to how we set up our storage. But basically that technique I've used before as well is, you shoot to two cards simultaneously for security, but that if you have to and something's going wrong, you can rip one card out. That's good, and then leave the other card in and then shoot to that. That is a good backup, but hopefully you don't really have to use it, but it is an option.
That's
I
why
have a
writing to cards is like really important, because thinking to another time while the bride was walking down the aisle, my there was an error that was thrown up about one of the cards on the camera. Said, "Do you want me to try and recover it?" And I had a moment of like, okay, and then it went failed. I was like, oh, well, I knew I had the second card in there.
It's the bloody Angel Birds card.
I had the second. It turned out when I got
Angel Birds are invincible. Not sponsored by Watchbit.
It did turn out when I got to the computer that both
we got
cards
David.
were okay.
We got Broadway in here. Broadway. What cards do you use?
Security of knowing, and look, it might not have been. Cards do fail, but that was the closest I've ever had to a card actually failing. But I knew that I had that second one in there, so I had the full confidence the rest of the day that no matter what was going on with that other card, which of course I ripped out and put a different one in, that I still had everything on the other one. So
yeah. So
what's up, Samuel? Thanks for jumping in, brother. Let us know if you have any questions. And same with Let You. Something like that. Keep going.
So one other thing I found that was like almost a horror, but it was that other instance I was talking about where the card was corrupted. Lightroom just wouldn't ingest or recognize the photos at all. And I downloaded Sony's native like data transfer thing, and I was able to ingest the photos into there and then re-export them, and then Lightroom would take them. So there's just weird workarounds sometimes with corruption, but yeah, you have to put your security measures in place, double backups, shooting to 2 cards simultaneously, running a second body, and then you do everything you can.
What's up, Carlton Cameron? Cameraman. Sorry, brother. Thanks for jumping in, man. Let us know if you have any questions on photo and video. We are diving into some questions now, some additional topics, talking about corruption and SD cards at the moment. Yeah, look, cards suck, man. Technology sucks. It does, man. It's the worst part of photography, I think, just having to put everything onto a card and then back onto a computer, Bloody Canon. Put a 50 gigabyte card in the 500 gigabyte card in the camera or something like that. Come on, guys. Charging us $7,000 for the cameras. That's tax. That's a camera tax. Talking about the wedding tax. That's a camera tax. It's true, man.
It is expensive.
Well,
the good gear as well.
RF lens mounts. No other manufacturer can make them. So Canon have a complete monopoly on the RF lenses. So what do you think happens?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So Sigma, Tamron, they cannot make an RF mount.
They've got
Canon
held it entirely.
Canon have the exclusive rights to making RF mounts. So there's a reason why the 70-200 cost me $4,500, and it's not that.
Who else are you going to buy?
Who else are you going to buy from?
Yeah.
It's good, but it's 5% better, and with charging us $2,000 more. So yeah, Canon sucks.
Come to Sony, my friend. Come to Sony.
I'd never leave Canon. I love Canon.
You know what I'm afraid of? Well, not afraid. I'm kind of curious about is if DJI make a mirrorless camera, because their drone,
their drones are good, man.
The sensors they put in their drones are so impressive. Just was working on a shoot recently with the new, I think it's Mavic Pro 4 thing.
Got the 4,
the telephoto on that, I was just like, it's almost like they have a RF 7200 in the sky.
It's insane, yeah.
Insane. I'm like, if these guys make a mirrorless with their stabilization technology, it's like almost game over for everyone. Maybe, I don't know. That's why I'm excited / curious / afraid to change ecosystems if I'm tempted that way.
Look. I don't hate Canon. I do love Canon. Canon are very good. I probably wouldn't ever jump ship from Canon just because of I think that people don't talk a lot about is the ergonomics of a camera body. I think that's huge for me, especially because I'm shooting, 20 hours a week of whatever I'm shooting. I want the camera to feel good, and for whatever reason, Canon just have that feeling. I haven't found it with another kind of manufacturer like Sony or whatever. I'm gonna run to the toilet. Maybe you guys can tell me how I'm wrong as I'm in the toilet.
What's your stills camera bodies?
So for stills, A7 R5
Yeah.
and A7 IV.
Are you shooting weddings with the R's?
Yes, but because it is 61 megapixels, I think, which is not really necessary for something that's only ever going to be printed, so big and not a billboard, we usually shoot it in the still raw, but it's like a compressed version of the raw, like large compressed, and the file sizes are still bigger than from the A7 IV, for example.
Yeah.
So otherwise, you're just gonna chew through cards but yeah, you're not compromising on quality because it's never going to be printed on a billboard. But yeah,
they're pretty amazing cameras. I think I would get the same ones, but for me, I don't know how many you shoot on a day, but I can shoot 4,000 to 7,000 photos depending on the day. And man, if I use a lot of storage now, rip me if I get an A7 V. But man, I've held the camera, I play with it, and feels like an excellent body and very, very capable camera. And of storage, if you've got your own system of how you manage that, then absolutely it's an excellent camera.
I was having this chat with my partner the other day. The A7R5 is just so nice to hold and just ergonomically, like all the buttons feel nice and the shutter's really quiet, which are all luxuries in a sense. Sorry?
So Sony caught up, did they?
I mean, it depends on your
depends on your hand.
Depends on your hands, right? Not all things fit the same, and not everything. Everyone's different, I suppose. But the difference between the A7R5 and the A7 IV, for example, or the A7 III, it's just like it's just nicer to hold. And whilst it is luxury, when you're doing it for 9 hours a day, it helps.
Huge difference, man. Huge difference, I think.
I worked with a guy once who'd been in the industry a lot longer. He was probably in his 50s, and he said he'd had hand surgery because of shooting. He was a bigger guy and he had much bigger hands, so he probably was doing this and cramping a lot more. But it's a real thing, like RSI.
What's your opinion on using one camera, one body? That's the new thing. Yeah.
Not me. I think purely it's on the lens side of things. Like if they had a 2.8 24 to 200, sure.
So I'm about to pick up the 24 to 105 f2.8, and my Canon R5 Mark II has 50 megapixels. So you can just punch in 1.6 crop, 160 mil, 170 mil.
That's good. Like, it's going to save you some weight. It's going to save save your hands a little bit.
But then I'm worried about that whole thing that you haven't do, camera failure. What if you're mid-ceremony and then all of a sudden, boom, camera's done. We're corrupt. We're not working. What are you going to do?
I think I've, in over 150 weddings, I think there's been once, maybe twice. I can't think of specifics, but just vaguely recollections of just having to drop a camera and just use the other one.
That's right.
Because something was going on. But,
that's right.
So it's rare, but it can happen. It is a really nice safety cushion knowing that if technology being technology, something happens, you just grab the other camera and go.
That's right. That's why
it might not be the exact composition that you want, but you want it. If you need to go, you can go. Yeah.
That's it. That's what I get worried about. But I'm like, then there's the other part of me. This is a $4,500 lens and a $7,000 camera and $1,000 in cards. Is it going to fail on me? Yes.
It can.
Could do.
You got the A7S III?
No, FX3 and the A7R5 is the video combo. But waiting on the A7 V, probably going to pull the trigger on that one too. Yeah, but look for photo. I think if you're the primary shooter, you should be rocking two bodies, or at the very least have another body in your bag. But for video, when you've got a bigger rig kind of happening, it's not really feasible to have a second body sitting on you. You got the one. But then again, I usually have an off camera tripod shot that's rolling the whole time, so I know at the very worst, if something does happen, someone steps in front of your camera, your equipment fails, whatever it may be, you do have a safety wide shot that's getting everything. So yeah.
We're gonna go for another 10 minutes, guys, and then we're at the max mark, I think, because we've been going well. Is there any audience questions? I think we have 2 viewers in there at the moment. Let's hear it from you guys. Give us a thumbs up. Mark's about to fall asleep. He's passing out.
Just stretch my neck.
We've been grinding through this conversation. I think we're gonna get a lot of good clips out of it. I want to keep it below the 2 hour mark just because the software that I use doesn't like when we go above the 2 hour mark, so we'll keep it below.
I just say thanks for running these, man, and
thank
thanks
you
for inviting us. And
thank you.
This man is a hard worker. He's constantly working. It must be hereditary because I don't know, whatever it is. You're a hard worker. I appreciate it. Thank you for running these and inviting all of us on to do these things. It's a lot of effort, a lot of work on your part. And
thank you, man. No,
I appreciate it.
That doesn't happen without the guests, so it's good to have good guests in continually. Everyone who's done it has come back, so that's a good pro thing that I've kind of good feedback. Feed forward. I don't like the word feedback.
Feed forward. That's a
Yeah.
new one. I don't know heard that one.
I like to echo that too, man. Just very much appreciate being here and being able to chat with you fellas, and setting it up. You James is an absolute hustler. Don't know.
Thank you, man.
Can't name someone who works harder than you. So
thank you, man.
Being able to
Appreciate
sit here and chat with you guys about nerdy camera stuff, super fun. Super fun.
It is fun. It is fun. I love it. I've always wanted to have a podcast. Always wanted to have a studio. So we're going to see how it goes. That's the next thing I'm kind of getting set up is this studio at the back. So yeah, we need a headshot. Come in. You should do some headshots for you guys today.
Yeah, that could be a cool entrance to your podcast. The full podcast guest experience is like step 1, headshot.
Yeah.
Step 2, cup of tea.
Yeah.
God, could you imagine? I need it. I actually have enough lights. I have another softbox.
Do you though?
kit.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you really?
No. I need some more lights.
So many lights in here.
We're going to get a sponge. Yeah, no. Well, there's 2 in here. There's a strobe in there. There's a lot of lights going around. All right, we need to stay on topic. We've got 15 minutes left. 15 minutes left, boys. All right, what are we talking about?
Cameras, gear.
We've done a lot of gear. We've done a lot of
Someone give us a
pricing.
question. We need an audience save. Any audience in there, do we have an audio delay on this stream as well? Because I am not working that out. I have no idea how to fix it. I was trying last night and I just have no idea what I'm doing, to be honest. This podcast is really difficult actually to get set up. There's a lot of different things that you need to kind of coordinate.
I got a question for Mark.
Yeah.
Because I think we've spoken about it before,
Yep.
but I'm sure, jump in as well. How do you go with burnout and feeling overworked? Do you feel like you're pretty good at managing not getting to that point? Do you get to that point sometimes? What do you do to come back from it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think I'm really good at compartmentalizing in the evenings. Like if it's nighttime and I've decided that I need to switch off, I can leave the desk, but it's the morning that I struggle with, because my first instinct is to look at my phone and then just start like processing the emails that have come through and thinking of how to reply, or I'm thinking about what I need to edit. But I've been trying to force myself to, the first thing in the morning is do like a bit of exercise, and then your self-care is out of the way and you can go and do the rest of the day. So I think that's my main technique, is like making sure the first thing you do in the morning is just, even if it's just 15 minutes of exercise or half an hour, that really helps me manage the burnout, because I've like taken care of myself. Even if you have to wake up a little bit early, take care of yourself for a little bit first, and then get into what you have to do. I think that works for me. But yeah, the burnout definitely happens. The other thing is, I think it's a cliche, but the 80-20 rule is real. Like,
It's real.
Yeah, it's real. I think you have to, when you're thinking with your artist brain, you just want to keep refining until it's perfect. But there comes a point where you've reached the point of diminishing returns. The client is not going to notice or care. It already looks beautiful. Just put it out in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think those two things is, first thing in the morning, do something for yourself and your health, and then try and think 80-20 when you start going down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
80-20 rule. I haven't finished that book, but yeah, it's good. It's a good rule. It seems so true. What
Seems
about
all
you?
true. Burnout hits me all the time, man. Yeah. Now I'm controlling it more. I think the thing with burnout is you need to put things in place that makes your system not messy. So if you're finding that you're being overworked, you need to find out where you're being overworked in, and then you need to put the things in place to stop being overworked. That makes sense. So like an area that I am getting overworked a lot in at the moment is emails. So I need to find a way to, combat that. I've done it ongoingly. I think if you continually improve your systems and your efficiencies, and you're able to kind of control how much work you're actually doing, I think you can manage the burnout of running a business quite well. Early days, though, anyone's going to get burned out running a business. It's really difficult. There's so many different things you need to set up, so many different things you need to do. You need to always be learning, always need to be improving, and I just think you're going to have to accept that you're going to be doing big weeks, and you're going to feel like you just want to give it all up at the end. Only thing you can do is do self-care. I don't know, exercise is a big one for me, surfing. So if I ever start feeling like that, I'll take the next day off. And I do from time to time take full days off. It's very, very rare for me. Usually I'm doing something every day of the week, whether it be an hour or 2 hours, but usually I'm spending about a minimum of 3 hours a day on work, and then upwards to on Friday I did I left home at 8 a.m. and I got home at 10:30 p.m. So those are the kind of days I'm doing, it's like big days, like it's fucking huge.
I know you're like a systems guy. Last time we were talking about how you apportion your income that comes in, this like set aside this much for tax, this much for a gear fund, this much for wages, all that kind of thing.
Yep.
Do you do that with your time, or is it too hard because the nature of the work is like sometimes it's an 8 to 10 days, sometimes you got free time? Do you have like a system for allocating your time when you can be flexible with it?
What do you mean? So do you mean my time or other my like what do you mean there? So like how do I break up my time? How do I make sure I don't go overtime or something like that?
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah,
because that's what I'm struggling with.
Yeah, I don't. I just accept like I have to do a lot of work. It's the industry I'm in. That's what it is. You're going to be doing big days. You're going to be doing 50-hour weeks in photography, right? That's what it is. That's what you do.
I mean more like with, not spare time, but spare work time. So if you've got time where you don't have to go to a shoot, but you are working.
I always have shit to do.
Yeah.
Always.
But that's what I'm asking is, do you have a system for prioritizing that time?
Gotcha.
Am I going to, if I've got 4 hours, am I going to edit for 1 hour, do 1 hour of admin, and then 2 hours of, accounting or tax, or like what?
Yeah. Calendar. A lot of it. So like, whatever's in the calendar I kind of do. So sometimes I'll just block out times for editing. Sometimes I'll block out times for whatever. It's as an ongoing basis. So Mondays are usually the day that I get back to my emails from the weekend, and I do all my calls and stuff. So there's a lot sitting there. So I'll try and power through that this afternoon. And then I just try and streamline it as much as I can, really. In terms of having a proper system, things are always going to ebb and flow. And sometimes I allocate, I'll be like, this is going to take me an hour. Like, and then it took me an hour. Like last night, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to make this countdown timer. It ended up taking like 2 hours in total because, it was like, not just, it was, but then it was the exporting and the waiting for it. And I was like, you just got to be adaptable. I think that's the main thing. You just got to be level-headed and stress-free and try and not burn out. And when you feel like you're going to start to burn out and you get feeling that anger kind of rush through your body, you need to know when enough's enough. And if you don't pull the plug and you keep going, that's when the tower crumbles. And as the business owner and someone who's the face of the company, if you're crumbling, things are going to collapse, you know what I mean? And that's the biggest limitation that I've seen people go through, is not being able to control that internal kind of emotion and sense of feeling. Burnout was a full unit in my social work degree. It was like, in order to have a successful and long career helping other people, and this rings true to people running photo and video businesses, you need to manage your emotions and you need to manage your self-care. Same thing with investing as well. If you're going to invest and you're going to be a successful investor, you cannot invest based on emotion. You need to invest based on a calm, level-headed analysis of the market. And I think that just is how you do it. And you need to, and I think understanding emotion, what that means is you need to be able to see how you're feeling internally. You need to go, this is what I actually need to do for myself to be able to continue going. And for me, it's surfing. So I'll just take a day off and I'll just go surf
Connect
or
with
sleeping
nature.
in. You know, sometimes just sleep in.
Yeah, it's so important. Like my father-in-law, very smart, wise man, kind man. He reminds me from time to time of, you don't have a business if you don't have your health. Because you are your business. So yeah, you've got to take care of yourself. And like only last night, we're always on. Like it might not be editing photos, it might not be booking a client, but it's all like the peripheral stuff that comes around that, like the backup stuff. Like only last night it was 11 or 11:30, and I'm like working out how to sync, then and start mirroring this now, and I'm like, do I really want to go deep into this now at this time of night, or do I pause this and come back to this? And it's just
hard
knowing,
to pause that, man. Though, how do you do it?
I try and remember, like I think Jordan Peterson once said it. He says a lot of stuff. And he's a wise man. One of the things he said once is however long you think something's going to take, particularly men, we're usually wrong, and it usually takes a lot longer. So if I think something's going to take me 20 minutes, it might take an hour and a half, and I then start to take my initial thoughts of how long something's going to take me, and then I triple it as a potential and think, am I ready to sit down and get into that?
That's some great advice.
Yeah. And sometimes, so I'm trying to get better with that mental time management. And don't get me wrong, sometimes you'll do something goes wrong in terms of like computer software, and it's going to take you longer. But just estimation, I'm just trying to get better at estimating how long things are going to take to manage time better. But in terms of like how I structure things, I think I'm sort of similar to Mark. It is very tempting. You just want to see what's come in. Is there any fires you've got to put out, or is there something you need to respond to quite quickly? So you do end up checking your phone first because it is a responsibility of yours. But if those things can wait till later in the day, then getting into exercise first thing in the morning is a great thing.
Exercise is huge. If I don't exercise, I'm a different person, man.
Yeah.
I need to have that 3 or 4 times a week at least. Heavy exercise.
Yeah. It's a big de-stressor.
It's huge, man. Surfing as well. I'll go out. I'll surf for 3 hours. Just in the water, floating, and be dead when I'm in. I'm like, I'll like go home and I'll be like, I feel all right now. I feel good.
But also like carrying cameras around for 9 hours a day gets taxing after a while. You have to keep yourself relatively healthy.
Be strong, man.
You know what I mean?
That rig that I just built, man, it's fucking beast, and it's like it's hard, man. You need to be strong.
Take care of your mind and body.
Do you mind if I circle back to something you said before, where you were like, you can't make, and this is a question for both of you, I guess, because James just mentioned, you can't really make business decisions off emotion. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a bit of strife pretty quickly. But I think because our business is centered around creativity, the reason you got into it in the first place is emotion. You know what I mean? So how do you guys, firstly, is that true for you? And then secondly, how do you go about balancing, okay, I need to engage the emotional part of my brain because I'm framing this beautiful shot and I'm engaging with this couple, want to create this beautiful moment, and then switching gears into that more logical business brain of ABC. How do you guys switch gears?
I don't really know, to be honest. I feel like I have like multiple personalities sometimes. It's a tough one, man. Look, I wear a lot of different hats. Sometimes I'm a sales call person. I've just developed my sales call process. So, I've literally just broke down how my sales calls look. So that's quite analytical, Step 1, we ask this. Step 2, we do this. Step 3, we do this. I don't know where that comes from. I did it. And then, other times, I'm out in the field and it's like, how do we get this lighting to evoke this sense of feeling and emotion? And it's just, it's hard, man. I don't know. I feel like I got to the point in photography as a practitioner where I'm quite comfortable with my skill set there. I feel like there's always going to be room to improve and places to go, but I'm confident in my abilities there. The things that I'm not as confident in is sales, marketing, business. Those are things I'm still developing and I'm still quite new in. I've been doing it for 3 or 4 years really. And I feel like I still have many more years to go before I get proficient. So I think for me, it's always just about understanding maybe where my limitations are, understanding where I can improve more, and then putting effort into that area and just learning, and then bringing that into my practice as a whole. It's not really one or the other. It's, this is what I do as my practice. It's how do I get this practice into the world now? And, there's many different facets and many different things you can do to do that. And it's just always going, how am I going to learn those things and bring them in, you know? And yeah, so that's kind of my mindset there. Does that kind of answer the question a little bit?
Absolutely. No, James is underselling himself there. He's very proficient at all fields in that space. Family history of entrepreneurship as well. So it's definitely in the blood. But I think a lot of people think that humanity is a bit more binary. You know, you're either a right side of the brain person or a left side of the brain person, which I completely disagree with, because I'm like, have you ever met someone who runs a photo video business? They're like, both. You know, James, Luke, they can switch gears. Otherwise they wouldn't be able to put or create beautiful stuff and put food on the table creating beautiful stuff. You know what I mean?
It is a distinct difference. And the thing with it is you can't go into it trying to be an artist, you know, like, yes, you can, but there's just, I think you probably realize this, Luke, it's the world's different now, you know, starting a photography business in 2015 compared to 2000, there's a lot more competition. There is a lot of competition out there. And I think you probably agree with me on this, is the way that I became successful is I began focusing on the business, right? It was that made me be able to pursue what I wanted to pursue. It wasn't necessarily my photography skills. And I feel like maybe 20 years ago it was more photography skills, but now it's more business skills.
Yeah. There's the barrier to entry is lower. The inspiration for many people to give it a go, who may not stick with it just because it isn't for them, is much higher with the social media stuff, which in one hand is great, because why not? You know, it's great to encourage people to try new things out and get into it. It's I mean, sort of coming back to like what we've been talking about here with the creative side and the logical side. Like, if you're like the best photographer in the world, but you can't run a business, you can't market yourself, you can't, you know, get back to emails properly or on time, you know, all those different things, then you need the whole package. And by the whole package, does that mean every element is perfect and the best? No, but it needs to be at least at a certain level. You know, you could run a fantastic business and market yourself really well, but if you can't really take a great photo, you're going to constantly struggle to sustain that momentum of, you know, how many people are going to recommend you and come back, and how many good reviews are you going to get. So I think everyone has the capability of doing both. You've just got to train yourself up in wherever you're lacking. And, you know, on a wedding day, for example, you do need to have a big logical mindset on, you know, a schedule in your pocket, because you've got to be aware of what's coming next, where you've got to be. And because other people haven't been to as many weddings as you may have to just say, oh, by the way, you know, we probably need to get moving here. But then when it comes to like doing the photos or the videos, emptying yourself of that, having a vague awareness of, right, when this time shows on my watch, I need to be aware of that, but forgetting everything else for a moment, and then being in that moment with a couple and start creating, you know, being able to change up and switch gears.
There's not as much respect paid to that part in actually being a wedding photographer. I think you can be a photographer and you can be a videographer. I think, and you could probably speak to this as well, Mark, because you do a couple of different things at a very high level, is that to be a wedding specific vendor in the arts, you need to have such crucial time management skills, and just like it's not even time management skills. It's almost like, I don't know how you would word it. It's like directing, management, people skills as well. You know, like you said, you need to be able to know what's happening on the watch while also embracing the moment at the same time. Like, that's a lot going through your head, and that takes years. You know,
and you don't look. You've got dozens of guests, maybe over 100, waiting on the couple to come back before things like meals can be served and the event formalities can go. You might have old people there, young people who need to leave at a certain time. So you don't want to be blowing out the schedule because you haven't paid attention to it, you know, because the couple, usually they might not be wearing watches or looking at them constantly. It's not necessary, and they're trying to enjoy their day. So if you're the only one with them, you know, it's good to keep an eye on that. And you don't want to be upsetting vendors. You don't want to be getting to the point, because you blew out the portrait session, that you have to say to them that, oh, you've hired me till 9 and now it looks like things are going to run over to 10:30 and that's going to cost them money, when in reality, but at the same time, sometimes that happens, but you don't want to be the cause of it. You don't want to be, you want to facilitate a smooth day as much as you can. You're not in control of everything, but you want to really help that out. And that comes before the day even begins, as you'll both know, is obviously looking through the schedule with the couple and just saying, I recommend some changes here. And of course, they'll either listen to that or not, and then things will unfold as they may. So yeah, it's fascinating to be involved with it because you are always learning. If you're doing it right, you should be always learning, figuring out, I could do that better, or I'm not so great in that area. Now I know, let's do better, let's learn. So it's humbling, it's rewarding, it's fun, it's challenging, it's cool.
Super challenging. Any last thoughts there, Mark? I know we spoke about scheduling and time planning last time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a good chat, and I think my last thought on that is just scheduling's a super slept on part of the job. I think to get the best images out of your day, you're going to want to get some advice from your photographer on when things should occur and how much time you should allow, and then it's just about kind of walking that fine line with the couple as the photographer and saying, ultimately the schedule's up to you, it's your day. However, if you do it this way, we might not necessarily capture this lighting, or you might not have enough coverage of this part of the day. And as long as you've communicated clearly to them that and manage their expectation of the coverage, then I think you're fine. But definitely recommend seeking the photographer's advice on the schedule. And it's a big part of the job that gets forgotten about. Yeah.
We're just about to wrap up, viewers who are in here at the moment. Is there any last questions, photography, videography, anything at all? Let us know there's an audio delay as well. Just give us a thumbs up if the audio sounds good, if it looks good, if it's synced. Just thumbs me up, please. I just need some reassurance. We've had a super long conversation. You guys had fun. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's been great.
Thanks for having me
Awesome,
back.
yeah.
Thanks for having me back too.
Yeah. I like the two-way combos. I think it's good to kind of like wrap it in and kind of hear a bit more thoughts from you guys. So a few people jumped in today. I don't think any more questions are going to come through, so I think we're going to wrap it up in a second. That was a really fun conversation. I think we just had a very free-flowing conversation today, which I quite liked. It's good to do that, so we can kind of break it up from the more structured kind of things as well. Everyone's jumped out, so that's my cue to wrap it up. So thanks everyone for watching so much. I can barely speak. We've been going for 2 hours, so that was a super in-depth conversation. We're going to play my little outro song, and then we are going to catch you guys later. Peace.